Hi friends, my name is Sarah, and I'm currently the Intentional Interim Minister with St. Andrew's United Church in Lacombe, Alberta. If you're watching this video, it means that you received the link via the email letter that I sent out to the St. Andrew's Community of Faith. Or you might have found it via our website or our Facebook page, or even this channel itself. No matter what brought you here, welcome. My husband John has graciously shared his YouTube channel, The Accessible Faith Project, with us as a place to share my weekly reflections. There are other videos on this channel which are an opportunity to learn more about the Bible, faith questions, and the like. If you'd like to receive notifications when new videos are posted, you can do so by clicking on the little bell icon that says subscribe and signing up. It's completely free. As I have visited with many of you by phone or in person while maintaining social distancing this past week, I've heard and I've seen a lot of different things. I've been privileged to hear stories of you connecting with your neighbors and friends using phone, text, email, FaceTime, and other means to check in on each other and to truly be what I believe is the church, a caring and compassionate community of faith. But I've also heard a few things that I can't help but connect with the reading from the lectionary for today of the story of the man who was born blind. I've heard people say the phrase, "Everything happens for a reason," and we must have done something to deserve this, referring to the outbreak of COVID-19. Just as the Pharisees in the story look for some sin, some explanation, something to point to and to blame for why this man was born blind in the first place, whether it is something he has done or that his parents have done that points to why he is blind. And I'll be honest with you, my heart breaks when I hear comments like this, because my husband and I were on the receiving end of them when our infant daughter, Heather, died. And like the blind man and his parents in the story, we knew that we had not done or said anything that would be a reason for why our daughter died. The comments were well meant, and like the Pharisees, seeking to explain and make okay something that definitely was not. Notice, though, that Jesus does not place blame on the man or on his parents for his blindness. His physical limitations are not the result of sin. It simply is. What is most powerful me in this story is that Jesus meets him where he is at. Jesus takes the very stuff of life, the dirt from the path, the spit from his own mouth, and he makes a paste out of it to smear on the man's eyes. He crosses all sorts of boundaries that were in place because of tradition and authority, boundaries of what was dirty and what was clean, of who was acceptable and who was not acceptable, of who was loved by God, and that this love includes lepers, bleeding women, madmen, Gentiles, children, and more. The other thing that I notice about this story is that not one person thought to celebrate sightedness. Not one person congratulated the healed man. Not one person took him to gaze at the temple or to feast on the sight of his parents, or even to look at his own face in a mirror. Not one person told him, "This is the color blue," or "This is a goat," or "This is your mom." All the healed man got from his community was an inquisition, and then an excommunication. Except from Jesus. From Jesus, he first received sight, and then from Jesus, he received insight, the insight that led him to a place of faith. All it took was the infusion of divine love through dirt and spit and blessing to transform what was considered dirty stuff into the stuff of a redeemed life. The blessing is in the dirt, as poet Jan Richardson once wrote. It is in the earth beneath our feet. The blessing is in the dust, like the dust that God scooped up at the beginning and formed with God's two hands, and breathed into with God's own breath. The blessing is in the spit, and the blessing is in the mud. It's in the mire, it's in the grime, it's in the muck, and it's in the mess of life. God reaches deep into the things of the earth and brings forth the blessing that shimmers within the sludge. And God anoints us. God blesses us with a tender and grimy grace. God uses the ground, the grime, the dirt, and the muck, not just in this story, but also in our own stories. In this story, He creates the blind man once again, and in our story, creates us once again. God can use the mud that happens in our own lives to cleanse us of our own unseeing, to open up our eyes on this ordinary and incredibly stunning world. This story reminds me that all we have to do is to remember that even in the dirt, even in the mud, God blesses us, and God can transform us. Thanks be to God. Amen.